not working. Don't know why. Oh, they're on now.
Okay.
I don't know why. They just decided to come on, but they're on.
Alrighty.
Hold on. Ready?
And very good. Good evening. Going to call to order the meeting for the Finance Committee. And it'll start here at 7:01 p.m. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
Present.
Alderman Kelly's here. Alderman Laws. Here. Alderman Clee.
Here.
Alderman Karen. Here. Alderman Harry Gathright.
Present.
That we have 6 members present.
Okay. The mayor cannot be in attendance this evening. He has important business, so he's delegated me to as vice chair to run the meeting, so please bear with me and we'll get through this. So here we go. Public comment. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak? Seeing none. We should also recognize in attendance Dan Coogan is with us, and John Griffin, CFO Comptroller, is also present in the audience. Communications.
Communication from Jim Donchis, Director Tim Cummings, Economic Development, regarding notice of change in contract for AECMO Engineering Services relative to studying passenger rail.
There being no objections, I'll accept the communication and place it on file. Further communications.
Communication from Dan Kukin, Purchasing Manager, regarding Transit Biodiesel Fuel. Mr. Chair, I move to accept, place on file, and contingent upon Board of Aldermen approval, award the contract to Dennis K. Burke, Inc. for an estimated annual amount of $25,000. Funds are available in Department 186, Transportation FTA Grant.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Further communication.
Communication from Dan Kukin, Purchasing Manager, regarding Public Health Building Renovation Design Service. Mr. Chair, I move to accept, place on file, and award the contract to Dennis Myers, PA, the architects, in the amount of $147,700. Source of funding is Department 183, Economic Development, Public Health Building Renovation Funds.
Okay. And at this point, we have Mr. Cummings present. Mr. Cummings, if you want to come up on this. Are there any questions for Mr. Cummings from the board? Well, Mr. Cummings, since you're here, can you give us just a brief overview, if you would, please?
Be happy to, Mr. Chair. For the record, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development. What's before you is a contract for design services, and I want to note the contract is for $143,000. However, I felt it prudent that we actually only engage Dennis Myers to get us through a certain level of design, which is approximately $24,000. And then we can reevaluate as to where we ultimately want to go with the project. We have approximately $2.5 million authorized for this renovation of the public health building of on Mulberry Street. What the scope currently entails is pretty much work that would be on the envelope of the building. So that would be doors, windows, roof, HVAC, the larger ticket items to keep the building healthy and in good shape. This has been a project that has been on our radar for quite a while, and so I'm anxious to get design underway if the committee sees fit to approve this contract. What I would do in tandem with the design element that would be occurring this spring is go out for construction management services as well. So we could have a construction manager procured for when we finish up that early stage of design, so it could be cost estimated. And if it's looking as though we are hitting within striking distance of that 2.5 million, we can continue the conversation or otherwise look to reevaluate the project in some way. But I felt that was the best and most strategic way to approach this project at this point. So that's just a very quick overview.
Okay. We do have one question from Alderman Gathright, and then we'll put you in the queue. Alderman Kelly.
Just wanted to find out, does this design include the handicap? Okay.
It does. So again, for the record, the question is whether this would include making the building ADA accessible, which in particular would have an elevator component, which would be an exterior addition to the rear of the building. That is what's currently being contemplated for the design, as well as all the other elements that I referenced just a few moments ago. And we're going to be trying to do that with what the city has already previously authorized, which is $2.5 million.
Good, Alderwoman Kelly?
Thank you. So we're engaging for just the design services, but this certain firm can also do the construction. Is that what you're saying?
If I may, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
Absolutely.
The answer to that question is yes. And they have been procured to do construction administration, and that is a check and balance on your construction manager, which would be a whole separate vendor, a whole separate entity that would work in conjunction with your architect through the construction phase of the project.
That's what I was asking. Thank you.
Further questions? Alderman Clee?
Just for clarification, though, when you were talking about putting out a bid for a CM, that would be a construction manager, not this construction administration. That's something completely separate. So when you get the design, get approval to go for a design, then you would be considering doing a CM.
Correct, to make it as expeditious as possible, so we have a construction manager on board to evaluate the cost estimates that the architect will be coming up with based off of the design.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, further questions from the board? Just, Mr. Cummings, an overview, being on the fire department, we used to go there for some of the things that were needed, and it's good to see the city has now turned their attention to improve that campus over there. They provide a great asset to the community, so very glad we're focusing on that. It's pretty much time for it, so that's good, okay. Seeing no further questions, I'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Cummings.
Thank you.
To the clerk.
Communication from Dan Kuchen, Purchasing Manager, regarding 2019 Pavement Preservation Program crack sealing. Mr. Chair, I move to accept, place on file, and award the contract to Seal Coating in the amount of $143,865. Funds are available in Department 160, Administrative and Engineering Paving Bonds.
Okay, and we do have somebody from the city that can please grab a seat. And first state your name and your title and give us a brief overview of the project, if you would, please.
Mark Saunders, Assistant Construction Engineer. So the 2019 Pavement Preservation Program, it's crack sealing. Crack sealing is applying an applicant to arrest moisture and water from penetrating and further degrading the roadway. Crack sealing will be applied on roughly 31 miles of streets. It has been proven to add roadway life. Approximately 3 years is what you get out of additional life out of a roadway when you crack seal. And it will increase the PCI of the roadway as well as the PCI for the overall roadway network.
Any questions from the board? Alderman Clee.
I know, I think I understand it here, but this is in conjunction with the paving bond that we've already done, and it's kind of part of the whole paving program of the city.
Identify yourself again.
Yep.
Yeah, every time you
Please.
talk.
Mark Saunders. It is it's separate from the paving program. I think we had $300,000 left over to do this program, but it is all a part of the paving umbrella. Is that
Further
It falls
follow-up?
Yes,
Yes.
please, thank you. So, does it fall under the bond that we currently have, or is this what was left over from the previous year?
I do not know the answer to that.
Okay.
I can get back to you on that. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to know if this is additional money, so. that's
For
all.
your question, I'm going to allow our CFO, Mr. Griffin, to come up, and he'll be better to answer that question. Thank you, Mr. Griffin.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. John Griffin, CFO. The specific answer is it's all part of the bonding program. There may be leftover funds from prior years or future expenditures, but it's all part of that process.
Great, thank you.
And crack sealing, seal coating, all that.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you mentioned, I did through social media see somebody who did comment that it put squigglies all over the place, but if it saves our roads and our infrastructure many years from having to resurface and get to the potholes and everything, it's well worth the project, so very good, good job. Any further questions again from the board? Oh, Alderwoman Kelly, excuse me.
Thank you. I have to admit, I was tripped up because it didn't say Seal Coating Inc., but I was like, oh, it's an actual company. Have we used them in the past? Do we know who we used in the past, and are we reasonably?
Yep, Mark Saunders. Last year, we also used, Seal Coating Inc.
Okay. Did a good job?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Further
my
questions from the board? Okay, seeing none, I'll move the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Saunders. And you gotta, why don't you stay, because we do additional items, yes, thank you. To the clerk, please.
Communication from Dan Kuchen, Purchasing Manager, regarding purchase of castings for the 2019 paving program. Mr. Chair, I move to accept, place on file, and award the contract to Concord Windwater Works Co. in the amount of $194,866. Source of funding is Department 169 wastewater.
And again, I'll refer to Mr. Saunders for description of the,
Mark Saunders, Assistant Construction Engineer. So the 2019 paving program casting contract. So during the paving process, we, when we mill the road and adjust the castings, we use that opportunity to replace any broken, obsolete, or any catch basins or manhole covers that are no longer in compliant, and we like to replace them with standardized OSHA compliant castings. So throughout the paving program, this contract is for 460 catch basin frames, 400 catch basin grates, 460 manhole frames, and 360 sewer manhole covers. So throughout the program, we, as we mill and as we take off the manhole covers and everything, we assess them, and if they need replacing, we will replace them. The old ones go to wastewater, and at that point, if there's any uniqueness or they believe they can salvage it, they will also use those. The triangles that you see throughout the city, those are brought over to Parks and Recreation, and I believe the Historical Society auctioned those off because they do have some historical presence. And any galvanized catch basins are also replaced because they aren't bike friendly for the bike lane, so we did switch to a bike friendly grate.
any questions from members of the board? Alderman Clee.
Not so much a question as a comment. I have a lot of the triangular ones in through my area. I live on Maywood Drive, so eventually those will be. I know there was a talk many years ago about replacing all of those because of the safety issue and so on. But so those will all be replaced, and because they're very small.
Mark Saunders, correct. As we go, if there's a triangle manhole, they are replaced with the 36-inch circular.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions, members of the board? Seeing none, we'll move the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. To the clerk.
Communication from Dan Kuchen, Purchasing Manager, regarding 2019 sidewalk program. Mr. Chair, I move to accept, place on file, and award the contract to Tri-State Curb in the amount of $47,150. Funds are available in Department 160, Administration Engineering, Northwest Quadrant Fund, Southeast Quadrant Fund, and FY19 Sidewalk Capital Funds.
Okay, again, Mr. Saunders, I'll turn it over to you for a brief description, please.
Mark Saunders, Assistant Construction Engineer. So the 2019 sidewalk program, it is proposed a sidewalk from Lutheran Drive to Dennis. That's approximately around 1,850 feet. In conjunction with that, it's also a new proposed sidewalk on East Dunstable, which is around 250 feet. We attempted to put a contract for the whole entire project, and we only got one bidder, which was the Canterbury Timber Company, and they had a bid amount of $258,468.50, and it was deemed that we did not have the funding for that, so we moved to do the project in-house besides the curbing. And so we we got in touch with Tri-State Curbing for the, just for the curb work.
Right. Any questions from members of the board? Seeing none, I will move the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Mr. Saunders, thank you for your
you.
time. Thank you. New business.
There's none.
Okay. At this time, the chair would like to ask CFO Griffin if you could step to the microphone. And my question, sir, we have yet to see the record of expenditures.
Is it over
Oh,
there?
it's over there, okay.
didn't make it
so
to our desk.
It hasn't come up, so this corrects a big snafu of what we were about
We
to
both
do.
were like, where is it?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, okay.
Oh.
All right.
Blame it on Alderman Cleat. Okay.
No, Alderman Clay, no problem. I just didn't, I was just so current. I was wondering
guarding
about,
it here, you know?
what do you do if it didn't make the chamber? We can't approve it, so, I mean, well, you know,
They're
so we
here.
had to wait. This makes it clean, I'm very happy now, very happy.
Okay.
To the clerk.
I move that the Finance Committee has complied with the city charter and ordinances pertaining to the record of expenditures for the period April 12th, 2019 to April 25th, 2019, and for the period April 26th, 2019 to May 9th, 2019.
Okay, any discussion on it? Seeing none, I'll ask the question. All those in favor to approve the finance, the record of expenditures signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. General discussion. Seeing none, public comment. Seeing none, remarks from the alderman. Seeing none, non-public session, there is no need to. I'm looking for, yes, Alderman Kelly.
Move to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn. We'll call the meeting adjourn at 7:17. Thank you.
Oh, don't we have to vote on it?
Oh, yes, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's the most popular vote. There you go. Thank you.
It's the easiest.